feel pressure because we have an audience. He's smiling at me. Ooh. All right. So, hey guys, this is Mike O'Sullivan, and
hi, I'm Dave Van.
yeah. So we've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and it hasn't happened, and we've kind of been forced into this situation as humans. So, excuse the rawness of this very rough background, and you don't want to see the rest of the office.
And I'm awkward in person. I'm even more awkward on camera.
So we are.
Sorry.
We'll see how often we do this, but we figured. Oh, and sorry, John Colby. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention you. He's not going to give any opinions today, but he has a lot of them, but not as much as his big sister. So what we decided that we're going to do is, for the last 5 years, and really almost 8 years now, we have worked very closely together in a lot of capacities. First as development officers, we had an office in Milwaukee, and our desks were literally side by side. That's what the office situation was. And then now, for the last 5 years, running 3 businesses out of our house. Mm-hmm. So that's
I would say we even started working together in South Dakota. Mm-hmm. Even before that.
Yeah. There you go. We're getting used to this. So right now, a big topic of conversation, obviously, is this pandemic going around. Our focus isn't so much on that, so much as told you lots of opinions. So much as a lot of people are being forced to stay home and work from home, and we are trying to, figure out what is life like when you're working at home with your spouse, with your significant other, with your children.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we happen to have at least, 5+ years of experience doing.
Yeah.
And so we think we have, I don't know, we put together a list of some tips, and we put it together by thinking of what are we good at, and we put it together by thinking what are we not good at and could be doing that would make sense.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell you which ones we're good at and which ones we still need work at.
Just imagine we're good at all of them.
Yeah, go ahead and just assume that. So why don't we kick it off?
All right, so number 1 is designate a room or space in the house where your work gets accomplished. And how we do this, we live in an apartment complex, but we have a townhome. One of the reasons that we like this, the townhome is nothing special. However, it has an upstairs and a downstairs. And it's really worked out for us that one of us, Mike, works upstairs during the day, and I'm downstairs with the kids. But also that's usually where I get my work done.
Right, and before the kids came along, which just over 2 years ago now, that was the same situation. She would work downstairs. I would work, have a designated office space, and we just kind of made it work. But having that separation helped us to not get into each other's hair, helped us to be able to accomplish work tasks. Like when we were working from Milwaukee in that office, mm-hmm. we had to make phone calls all day long to donors around the country. And man, like we either had to take turns, and it was one of those positions where you sort of had to be in the mood and have enough energy to be able to do certain work tasks.
Yeah, being in separate rooms is really helpful if you have to make phone calls. That's a really big one.
Yeah. So number 1, designate a room or space where you get your work accomplished. Another one would be along those same lines is designate working hours or do not disturb hours. Especially a lot of people right now have kids home certainly from school, but whether that's whatever level right now. I know a lot of college students. I'm pretty sure the country is almost on lockdown if it's not already. So the students are going to have work to do too, but make sure that they know, hey, this is dad's work time, or hey, this is mom's work time, and so that you're able to accomplish that. And you may have to take shifts
Yeah.
Especially if you have younger children and this is a brand new thing or something that you haven't done in a while. So just kind of make sure that you're supporting each other in that way.
And I'd add that this is not one that we're actually that great, especially for me with having 2 kids under 2. This is kind of a moving target, but hey, we do what we can.
Yeah.
Front load your priorities. This is something that children taught me so much. When I had our first child, Zaylee, my working hours were cut down so much, and keeping her at home with me, I realized that when you run your own business, you realize that the work you do has to bring in money. You don't have the luxury of knowing that every 2 weeks a check is going to drop into your bank account whether you did a good job or not. So something that I learned out of that situation is start the day off doing whatever is most important, whatever will make money. And I think this is applicable too for you if you're not self-employed. If you need to get things done at your house, start with whatever is most important, the phone call, whatever it is that will make you money, will make your business money, and add value to whatever you're doing. Ask yourself, if I only get one thing done today, what would it be? And that's what you start with.
So this one was, we thought, kind of funny. Try to keep it together, especially in light of the situation that's forcing all of us to either work from home, work less, whatever the situation may be for you. Working from home, especially if you're not used to that, can be very difficult. So stress and tensions may be very high, especially among spouses, especially among parents and children.
Bored children.
Yeah. So, just do what you can to maintain your sanity. And we'll get into some of those actually next.
Spend at least 20 to 30 minutes a day focusing on chores or some task that will help you keep your spaces clean. And this is particularly important to help keep your sanity.
Yeah, so fortunately you can't see my office right now. I've thrown up a very rough background just so we could shoot this thing today, but my office is a mess. It's been on my to-do list for longer than I care to say. But what we've noticed is especially common spaces in the house, whether that's kitchen, living room, bedroom, if it is a mess, and maybe you're comfortable living in a mess, but if it is a mess and disorganized or whatever, you may not necessarily connect that with getting angry or losing your patience or whatever, but clean up the house, organize the house, do something, wash dishes, because every time you walk in the house, especially if you have a nice space outside to be able to sit during this time, it'll just feel so much better. It's going to relieve some stress and tension that you may not even realize where that's coming from.
And I'll say that this was really highlighted for us when John Colby was born just 4.5 months ago, because
this guy.
It's like our time just really became not our own. And it took, I don't know, maybe we're just getting there with running businesses and having to work from home. Our place just got so messy, and I'd even say dirty. And it's really hard to stay on top of that when the kids would nap. That would be my time to get my work done, and there was never any time for chores. So we have just been going crazy with the state of the place, and we still don't have a handle on it, but we know how important it is, so we can tell you that today.
Absolutely. And really, 20 to 30 minutes is all it really takes. And if you have kids who are old enough, we're still trying to get our 2-year-old to do stuff, but she's not very helpful. So if you have kids who are old enough, maybe incentivize them to I don't know, give them an allowance. I don't know.
If you have older kids, you can comment with your tips. Yeah. We do not know yet.
I'm guessing. Next one, stay active. Whether you're an active person or not already, now is a great time to get outside. If you have a yard, great. At the very least, go for a walk. We have a really great, where we live, a nice loop, so we can just go for a walk. The gym where I regularly attend classes is shutting down this week, just like everything else. So just do something. Maybe just lift a baby or something. I don't know.
That's why I'm so strong.
But just do something that so that some of that stress and tension, like you need an outlet, especially if you're working in close proximity to really like people you love. You need that outlet so that you're not taking it out on them.
I think a lot of people are probably like me. I carry my stress and tension in my neck and shoulders. And really, if I don't work out, which was again highlighted recently when I was recovering from John Colby's birth, when I don't work out, I just feel awful. I feel achy and I don't feel right. And I noticed that a 20-minute workout, I look up a workout on YouTube, they're free. It's amazing how you can make yourself really sore in just 20 minutes. And I have definitely noticed a change by doing that. I shoot for 6 days a week. I would say maybe more like 4 it happens, but it does help so much.
Yeah. And so like Devan was saying, I saw that. There are a lot of free workouts online, but they're also check in with your gym if you belong to a gym. A lot of gyms are doing online courses. We've got friends who own a yoga dance studio, and they're doing some live streaming of their classes. So just kind of see what's going on in your area, and there are resources out there.
Another good tip is turn off the news and social media right now. This is probably good advice in general, just for your sanity, but especially if you're trying to get things done. I've noticed that with this coronavirus going on, the days that I'm listening to the news or looking for different updates from various sources, those are the days that I'm most distracted. I'm not present to my children and definitely not able to accomplish my work.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, especially as things have started being canceled or postponed, a lot of work for me that's happened, and so that stress alone hasn't helped with focus, but especially when you have that constant stream in your ears or you're reading it or whatever, again, it's just a huge distraction anytime, whether we're in a crisis or not, but especially now. Just turn it off for your own sanity, but also for your own focus. If you've got a job to do, which as most of us, if you've got a job to do right now from home, turning off social media is probably one of the best things that you can do. And it's so easy since it's so accessible, and since we're not on our regular schedules and in our place where we have that, go into an office and you've got that focus, that space to be able to just do that thing and leave it there at the office. So turn off the news, turn off your phones. Oh, and an additional tip on that is turn off notifications, whether it's email. Obviously, you have to check in with email for work purposes, but whether it's notifications on your phone or things like email, turn off your notifications during work hours.
Utilize nap times. And what we mean by that for sure is when your kids are asleep, especially if they're little kids and need your attention like ours do. When they're napping, jump to whatever, go back to your question of what do I need to get done today if I only got one thing done. And if you haven't done that, definitely use your kids' nap time to get that done.
Here's something that I definitely struggle with. Working out of my home, I'm really passionate about what I do. I love getting to get up every morning and do something that I love. This may or may not be you, but regardless, while you are working at home especially, cut the work off. Set an alarm for the end of the day and actually end the day. When you are working from home, it does make it a lot harder to stop working because we don't have those same parameters all the time. So know when you're done each day and stick to it.
And this is really good if you have kids or a spouse and you need to give them some attention, which is really important in these scary times to be with the people that you love and spend quality time with them. Something else that's really important is when you're working from home is don't skip meals. I know when you're working, you can kind of, I don't know, maybe get in the zone or not feel like making lunch or something, but for sure, for your sanity and for your kids as well, make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you and everyone in the house.
And if they're old enough, let them do it themselves.
Again, parents with older kids can tell us what's the best practice there.
I'm just guessing.
Next tip is be quick to forgive and offer apologies as everyone in the house and your clients are adjusting to a new norm. And this is really important right now because so many kids, all the way from, daycare, kindergarten, all the way up to college, like their daily routine is very different right now, and everyone is at home. And you may or may not be trying to homeschool them, whatever curriculum their school had for them, packets or whatnot. They've still got work to do. This is really hard to adjust to. And so tempers will not be good. There's going to be moments of high stress and very tense moments, which is hard with this little guy around not to be happy all the time. And just be quick to forgive and say I'm sorry. Even for him, though I haven't apologized much to him, but even my 2-year-old, every now and then,
He just remembered something you said that you owe him an apology for.
Every now and then, I'm not a perfect mom, so every now and then I yell or do things I wish I didn't do, and I'll even apologize to the 2-year-old.
Another one is know yourself and hack the system. If you are a morning person and you know that's when you're most effective, work in the morning. A lot of people are productive at specific parts of the day, so know what that is for you and really try to utilize that time so that you can keep up with what you need to be doing. Identify what your triggers are. If you know that you can't deal with a lot of noise or like a dirty house or whatever, do what you can to make those triggers go away in a healthy way. And then also, like I said, identify when you are most productive. And I think that especially working from home due to an injury, not that that matters here, I haven't worked out for the last few weeks. And so it's completely thrown off my routine. But prior to that, something that we've talked a lot about is how I am most productive when I'm in a regular routine. So that's working out in the morning, praying, and then kind of jumping into either continuing education or projects that I have on my plate for that day. Because I know that by 9 o'clock, if I'm getting up at 4 o'clock to go work out, then by 9 o'clock, I'm probably kind of tired. And so if I haven't started work by that point in the day, it may not be as good as other days of the week. So,
well, on the point of triggers, from my experience, we know for me that I am at my worst, really at my worst, when I'm trying to get something done and my daughter wants my attention or she's being fussy. I really am not able to handle doing my task as well as taking care of her needs or whatever it is that needs to happen. And so we just do what we can so that I don't have to work when I'm watching the kids. I wish I was better at accomplishing things when I was with them, but I just am not my best self when I'm doing that. So if I need something really important done and it's not her nap time, then I'll ask Mike to step in and watch her for a minute while I go do something.
John Colby really wants to participate. You get that cord, buddy.
All right, our next tip is look on the bright side. Take a deep breath. Whatever thisness is going to pass. And maybe you've wanted to try working from home before and have never had the chance to do it, or maybe you're just doing your part to help flatten the curve, which is, you're not worried about yourself getting sick, but you don't want to participate in the spread of the coronavirus. Whatever the case is, this is going to end at some point. So just take a deep breath and try to be present to the people around you.
Yeah, I think something that we've had a lot of discussions about in the last couple of weeks is just how grateful we are. Like, we've had an opportunity to think about, we're grateful for each other, mm-hmm. For being able to really, for the most part, work pretty effectively at home at the same time.
Mm-hmm. There's been frustrating moments. This has been really tough.
Absolutely.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, and we have healthy kids, so it's kind of hard to be anything mm-hmm. less than grateful right now.
Yes.
And then the last thing, and I'm sure that there are a million other things, but these are just some of our tips for being able to work at home effectively and productively with your spouse, significant other, children at home at the same time with you. Lastly of all would be have a sense of humor. this is something that I particularly struggle with.
Which is funny to me.
I appreciate that.
Humor.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, have a sense of humor. I mean, it's hard to be kind of cooped up and to, again, like stress, tension just kind of builds.
Mm-hmm.
So have fun, be silly. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. As serious as life seems right now, like we have a great opportunity to just connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, I think one of the funniest memes I've seen said, this is going to give me a chance to get to know my wife. Anyway, hopefully you have found this helpful and not just, annoying, but we've never done this before, and we're going to, we're going to fix up a few things, like turn my office into an actual studio at some point.
Maybe cut Mike's hair.
Maybe cut my hair. Activity, family fun time. Anyway, so if you like this, please let us know in the comments. If you are some of our closest friends, I'm sure you'll just make fun of us for doing this, but regardless, like hopefully, especially if working from home is new to you, please reach out, ask us questions.
And if they make fun of us, then at least we help them with that last point.
That's right. All right, stay healthy out there, friends.
Bye.
Ooh, buddy. Should we put some dance music too? By the end of this, you may be walking.